Grab your parasols. Shine golden slippers. 'Tis the season. What's up, everybody? And we are here for another episode of 'Tis the Season. And the first returning guest that we have, Billy Yocum, or better known as he was dubbed last year on the show, the Uniter. That might be the most repeated line that we have of the show. Yeah. I actually think we could probably get merch of that, the Uniter, because everybody always says that. Michael Adams comes up to me all the time. He goes, "How's the Uniter doing?"
Yeah,
I get that all the time. But we got a really good one for you tonight. We're actually here to talk a little bit about the pick night. But I'm going to throw it to you, Bill. How do you feel everything went? How do you feel about the results so far going into 24?
I mean, it was nerve-wracking that night leading up to it. Of course, I mean, it is for everybody, but I was happy with our pick.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you can't ask for anything more if you're happy with your own head, whatever. And we're going to get into that. We got a little bit of a rundown, but first, before we get into anything, we can't move on without talking about the Mummers Row Philly Tea, Kiki Vodka, the official sponsor of this show. It's a great product. I'm sure you've tried it at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's very good.
The one reason I like it is because it's not really sweet.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of those teas have like that artificial kind of sugary sweet. You get a headache from it and all that.
Aftertaste. Yep.
Yeah, but you don't get any of that from this. It's a very, very natural tasting tea, and it's very real. So, I mean, you can get it at all the local bars. O. Jung's has it. All the Mummers clubs have it. You can pick up cases of it at the Mummers Museum, and you can contact Mike Orlando from Magic. He sells it. Jack Hattie from Saturn Alien. You can get some from him as well too. So if you're interested for the holidays, reach out. It's a great gift, and everyone loves it. It's great. It has really good reviews. So Kiki Vodka, can't thank them enough for being a sponsor of the show. But what we're here for, what we're all about tonight is the pick night. And we got to move because the Phillies are playing tonight. So we got to get through this a lot faster than they got through with Saturday night. That takes a little bit of time, but we are not going to take that long tonight at all. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the order of the pick.
Okay.
All right. So we're not going to go prize order. We're not going to go the order of 2024. We're going to go in the order of how the clubs picked on Saturday night.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're going to start off right now with the first club that picked, and that's Saturn Alien. So a lot of people might be wondering, why are we starting with Saturn Alien? Saturn Alien marched first in 2023. So how things work is, if you went first, for anybody that doesn't know, you get to pick first without the number one spot in there. And I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's very fair.
Yeah. I mean, going first 2 years in a row would be hard for the best club out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty fair. So Saturn Alien went up and they picked 5. So I think that's a pretty respectable pick. I have my thoughts on that, but I'm going to toss it to you, let you kick it off. Saturn Alien marching 5th in 2024. What do you think, Bill?
It's a great spot for them. They're right in the middle. I mean, going up first last year, I know that was a little rough on them. Dropping back a little bit into the 5 puts them right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, they're doing Rio.
Yeah.
We don't know what we have with coming with that. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues you can take with that. But after seeing 4 clubs of whatever theme you have coming, Rio is always colorful.
Yes.
Rio is always usually powerful musically and suit wise. So depending on what they see after the first 4, 5 is, I don't know. Do you consider 5 early still? I guess maybe
5, 6, 7. I put right in the middle.
Like you consider that more like mid range. Yeah, it sometimes it was easier with an even number. When you have the odd number, sometimes we got a third.
Got a visitor.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to kind of gauge whether that's like early, late, like you know what I mean. But I think, me personally, I would put them at the tail end of the start.
Yeah,
which could be good, because then again, don't forget, this year we have the judges doing that new judging where they're judging everything, and they're getting rid of the high score and low score and all that kind of stuff.
That's a game changer.
It really is.
It absolutely
really is. But I mean, let me ask you this: when you think of Rio, what do you have a vision in your head? Like, what do you think you would expect out of a club like Saturn Alien?
A lot of color,
mm-hmm.
High energy, great music.
Yeah,
it's going to be great music. You know that. You can't have bad music with Rio.
Sure.
It's kind of a scary theme to me. I mean,
yeah,
it's one that it could pop.
Historically, it's usually pretty good. That's been first prize once, I think, to Strutters.
Yeah, Strutters
right back in like the early 90s.
With it. put the Golden Crown. The Golden Crown got third last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
in
They
Rio.
just.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I mean, you have a club that just did Rio and now.
I'm gonna keep that one to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little soon, but
Okay.
it depends how you do it.
Okay.
Rio's one
Yeah,
of the
no,
things
you're-
you can do
you're
it,
right.
10 different ways.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I'm in a different school of thought with that. I don't know if it matters. I think it matters to us
Right.
when a theme is done more than once,
Right.
back to back. But I don't know if the judges care. But remains to be seen.
Right.
We'll see what we get out of Saturn Alien. But let's move on to our second pick here, which was the Vikings, and they are going second.
Yes.
And that is the winner from 2023. So that is, I don't even need to ask, that's definitely an early
Yeah.
spot.
Oh yeah, that's very early.
But it's the champion from last year.
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
Personally, I think it's going to throw the numbers out of whack. They're going to score high. You know they're going to score high. They're the Vikings. They're always going to score high.
In your opinion, the bar is going to be set
Very.
early.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be the club to beat in the front of the
I mean,
parade.
the top 5 clubs up there, the numbers going to be crazy.
I mean, you can look at that in two ways. One, that the bar is set early on, and you have the winner already could potentially have gone,
Right.
and you got to beat them. Or from their side, that it's going to be hard to hold.
Are they holding back points? I mean, you always
right,
get that.
right? Which I've never been able to confirm in my personal the school of thought if they really have
Yeah.
save points. I don't know about that. It's kind of hard to say because you're judging. You're judging.
Exactly.
I don't know if they do that or not.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Well, it depends on if the judge, if they're repeat judges. I mean, they know who's good.
right.
I mean, they've seen the shows, so they know who's good.
Yeah.
And if they do their research, they know who's good.
I mean, for me personally, I think it's going to be hard to hold a spot like a first prize that long in the parade,
It's a long hold.
but it's the Vikings.
Yes.
So, and actually, I think, Sean, we have video of the reaction of Captain Louis Castelli after his pick. So why don't we roll that?
We're with the captain of the South Philly Vikings, Louis Castelli. Tell us about your theme, what number you picked tonight, and how you feel about the whole thing.
We pulled 2. Our theme is a Venetian masquerade, like Italian carnival kind of deal. Looking forward to putting it out there and getting something different on the field.
Can't wait to see it.
So, I mean, I think overall he had a pretty good reaction. He talked about morale. He talked about keeping the club boosted up. He's not going to say it, and maybe I'll ask your opinion. Do you think he knows it's going to be a tough one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Louis been a mummer a long time. I mean, he was a baby mummer, but he's also a motivator. I mean, he'll get them to run through a wall.
Sure.
He's that good at it. So I don't think it'll affect them as much as it'll affect.
Yeah, I think the
else.
Vikings and even some of the comments that we've seen on social media from Vikings members and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, I think they see it as more of a challenge and they get up for it more than
They've only done it once. I just looked it up. They've done it once. They finished third in, I think it was 2011 or something.
Okay,
Like that. Maybe
yeah.
2003 or
right.
something.
And this is a club that's one going first.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they really look at second as a challenge.
Yeah,
to be
it doesn't
honest
matter.
with you. But I think one thing I think we can definitely agree on: the bar is going to be set early in this parade
Oh, yeah.
with the
Yeah,
champions
absolutely.
going second. So I think that's big. But third pick of the night, we have our second prize club from 2023 and an up and comer,
Yeah.
the Aveneurs.
Very young.
They are young.
young,
They
yes.
are. So they picked 6. They picked 6.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I didn't write down what they picked for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I believe they picked in the 6th spot.
I think it is.
Let me pull that up. But Aveneurs up and coming club,
6.
young captain, 6 we got confirmed. Sorry about that in my notes here, I missed it. Young captain, a lot of energy,
Very successful captain.
very successful in a short amount of time.
Yes,
But
yes.
I mean, he's learned from his father, who was
Yeah.
the longest running captain. So I mean, you already mentioned they're a young crew, but how do you feel about them? I mean, you can't really get any more middle of the pack than a 6 when you have
Yeah.
11 clubs. So Aveneurs going 6. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a really good spot for them. I know they weren't happy being so early last year. It's tough following the Sats though.
It is tough following the Sats.
it's the good and the bad.
It's tough following the Vikings.
Yeah.
You know, and even as we didn't get to them yet, but as we do get to them, Golden Crown.
Yep.
We'll discuss is up there.
It's a nice bunch up there.
It is a nice bunch up there. And for me, honestly, I am more of a person that looks at grouping.
Yes, so do I.
I don't really look at the numbers too much. I personally don't care if we pick a second, if we pick an 11, if we pick a 7, whatever we pick. I look at the clubs that are around us.
Like I said to you, you go up there and I worry about where I'm picking, who's in front of me, and then, of course, who's going first.
Right.
Because you don't want to be that guy.
No, you don't want to be that guy. And it's I think the hardest thing is to go up there when especially when a handful of clubs picked, maybe 3-4 clubs, and nobody got one yet.
Oh, that one was getting bigger and bigger. I kept saying to Charlie, I mean, that one was getting big and big and big.
I mean, we were sitting there. You even texted me that. I was getting live feeds coming in from the pick night so that we could post them on social media.
Was it a good feeling?
It's a little bit nervous feeling, especially when your club is coming up.
Yeah.
The one's in the pot.
Did it go right before you guys?
It would have been right after.
Okay.
Yeah, with the way you pick in order. Yeah, it would have been right after. But yeah, I mean, I think the Avenurers, I think now might be a hot take or whatever you want to call it. I think so far out of the ones that we've reviewed, they have the best spot.
Got a nice spot. They do have a nice
spot. It's not an easy spot.
Yeah.
But it's the best one, I think, especially if they pull off a good show.
They're different too.
They are different. They're doing
different.
like a mystical realm type of theme, which, I mean, there's a million different ways you could go with that. It's a lot of different, avenues and characters. You can be creative, and I think it could be cool. But they do have a good spot.
Yeah.
Coming off a good prize, and we'll see what we get from them. And picking after them was your third prize club from this past year, Golden Crown, and third prize club in 23, third prize competing in 2024. So, I mean, thoughts on that, Bill? Because let me preface, club that had some success a number of years ago in the recent past. They had their run. They always hang.
They're always good.
And then recently popped right back up into the top 3.
They're always there. They're never far behind.
They're not. But now, marching third, Vikings are second.
Following the Vikings.
So do you think that puts a little pressure on that?
I do. I absolutely I do. I mean, you don't want to follow the champs.
Right.
I mean, especially the way they come out so high energy and so powerful, and that's fresh on the judges' minds. That curtain opens back up and you got something out there might be really good, but it don't look as good.
Yeah.
But that might just be me thinking too much.
But if members in a club think that, does that add a mental pressure? Does that change the way you perform?
Well, for some, it might. I think guys like me been doing it for so long, gets to the point where it don't matter.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
Because I've always thought this personally. I know a lot of people think the spot matters.
Yeah.
I don't think the spot matters. I think the spot changes members' morale, and the drop or rise in morale changes the way you perform.
Absolutely.
So does it in turn affect the prize? Maybe it does.
It could, yeah.
But I don't think just the number affects the spot. And that could just be me.
The dancers they're still going to dance. The builders are still going to build.
Sure.
I mean, everything's still going to be there.
And for some reason, like somehow, some way, Crown always seems to come out with something interesting visually.
They're like chiseled veterans.
They are.
They've seen it all. They've done it all.
Well,
they're always there.
Speaking of veterans, I mean, one of the longest running captains at this point too.
Yeah, he's the old man.
Yeah,
Bobby is the old man.
So
right
I mean,
now.
that means something. That's good for a club like that. To come out with an early spot, following the champs, off a good spot. But you got a veteran captain who's going to keep his cool.
Absolutely.
They have veteran members. I think they'll be fine, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone up early before. They've gone up and, with different themes. They're risk takers, and I think that could be a good thing, especially following the champs, going early. I think that could help.
It's not a bad spot when you do it that way.
No, it really isn't. But speaking of veteran captains, the club that picked after Crown, Downtowners, brand new captain.
Yes.
And we already said it's nerve-wracking to pick a spot. But I think it's even more nerve-wracking when it's your first spot. You guys had that last year with Charlie.
Yes.
Now the Downtowners have it this year with first-year captain Aussie Samborn. I think we have footage of him getting to select his position. Why don't we take a look?
Grab Thomas Morton, not number. So I did 2 and then 3.
So I think you can clearly tell from that video he was excited. Knowing him, I think he was trying to be professional and not be like super.
Was his hair perfect?
His hair was perfect.
Okay.
Not one out of place. I think maybe that was why he didn't jump up and down. He had to keep the do going. But you could hear people in the background, and they were excited. I think like I said, I think he was trying to keep even.
Yeah.
But he had to be excited. What do you think?
He had to be on goose egg all day. He had to be walking on eggshells. Scared to death. It's your
Yeah.
first time. You got enough pressure already, and then you got to stick your hand in that box.
You think instant relief?
Okay, absolutely.
You just have fun for the rest of the night. The only thing I can equate that feeling to is New Year's.
Yeah.
You're tense till you get the prize.
Final pose for me.
Yeah.
Final pose is the best feeling you get on New Year's night.
It's over.
Yep. All that work done.
The rest of the day is fun.
Yep.
I was just saying in the last episode with Adam, the president of Downtowners, that for me, that moment is like when you get Second Street, second wash, when you're about to start. I'm not nervous all day. That's the most tense I am because to me, it gets real there. Like the prizes are coming out. You're like, oh, you're going to get the results.
That's the whole walk down Second Street.
Yeah. But for me, this is a similar feeling. You know, it had to be for Aussie to get up there and pick that number 10 and just be like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's over. You know, and you know what? Though I will give him credit. He didn't sometimes clubs, it's not the captain that picks, it's somebody else. And being a first year guy, he didn't put that on anybody else. He went up there and did it himself. Good, bad.
I told Charlie to let somebody else do it. He was such a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
And he said no. It's his job.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it.
And first year captain still had the number 1 in there too. So
absolutely. Yeah, that big number 1 getting bigger.
Thing that would have really sucked for him is that the Downtowners went second last year, and he still had the opportunity to pick a number 1. So if he would have picked a number 1 after going second, that's tough. That is really tough. But young captain, modern ideas. We don't know. I'm assuming, but I think it could be a pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I've known Ossie since he was a baby, and he's such a nice kid, and I just want him to do so well.
And I think one thing that you know him, I know him. I think one thing you can definitely expect from him is a high level of effort and detail.
Yeah. And he's going to give it his all.
Yeah, he's going to try to do what he can for the club, though. I think. And just knowing him, right now he definitely seems way more concerned with how the outcome of the club is than anything involved with his own performance. And I know he's not, lacking in that department either, but he definitely puts the club first. So it seems
that's good.
And
that's
I think
a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, especially for a first year guy.
Yeah, and honestly, all the clubs are close, and I think it's good for him to have other clubs, veteran captains, and stuff like that.
Very well liked throughout the organization.
I think he molds in well and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, good for him getting a good spot. Yeah. So now when he picks a bad one, he doesn't have to worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think that was great, and hopefully we see good things from him. So congratulations to him for picking a good spot there and following them in the opposite direction. Or let's not be negative, but most people would say in the opposite direction. We had Satin Slipper pick after the Downtowners, who pulled the number nobody wants.
Fourth time.
The fourth time.
Fourth time in a convention
They
center.
pulled that number 1, and not the. I wouldn't say it was a bad reaction. I think it was a reaction that was right on par, and we caught that reaction of Captain Christmaselli picking the number 1, and let's take a look.
Gotta be kidding. One.
I don't think there was anything wrong with that reaction at all.
That's what it is, right? He's been working for 7 months, 8 months now,
Yeah.
and then you feel like it's all for nothing. But it's not.
It's not.
It's really not. You got to keep the morale up, and you got to show up for drill, and you just got to work.
In that moment, I think you might feel like it's over with.
Right.
But I think if we were to sit down and have a conversation with him now, I think he would
Oh yeah.
cooler heads. I think they're fine. I mean, you got to remember the show is already planned.
Yes.
For every club, not just for them at this
too late,
point in time.
You can't back off.
Yeah, you're not going to back off now. And Satin Slipper is a strong club.
Yeah.
They have great
theme.
performance, great theme, great choreographer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They have creative ideas. I think they put on a great show last year.
Absolutely.
I really
Past
do.
couple of years are really good.
Yeah. So I think, again, my opinion, agree, disagree. I think some people would disagree. Some people would agree. I think if there's any club that could handle going up first, it's them. They have experience doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for them, they have a lot of experience doing it.
Yeah.
I think, they picked first, I think, every year in the last however many years that they were eligible to pick it, I think, didn't they? Because you can only get it every other year. And
I
they were.
think it's been since 2011. This is their fourth. They're number one with the most number ones up the convention center. It was the shooters.
That's great. Yeah,
Now
that's insane.
Slipper's got that role.
I mean, 4 times in that amount of
That's a
time
lot.
for a random pick of 1 out of 11, or for a number of years 1 out of 12
Yeah.
chance. That's a lot for us. I mean, there is no pooling of number, nothing. You just go up there with all the numbers in the pot, and for them to constantly pick out a 1 like that is unfortunate for them. But to be honest with you, their prize history is still good.
Yeah, they're always up there.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a good club.
Yep. Yeah,
You can't take that away from them.
just got to work a little harder.
You just gotta work
You got
a
to
little
keep the
harder.
morale up and just keep working. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good enough, you're good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, 2023, you had a good club go first. They came out with a good prize. I don't think they were hurt by that at all.
Right.
I mean, again, my personal opinion, I think the right clubs won. I think the right clubs got second down and so forth. I
Always
think the outcome was correct. So I don't think Saturn Alien was hindered or anything by going first. And I think Satin Slipper, with the right mentality, is going to have the same success. Really,
It's going to be the same guys again. Same guys dancing, same guys working. Just got to work a little harder.
personal opinion, you can't really go wrong with a Native American
No,
theme
it's
either.
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And who knows? You're going first. Maybe that's an advantage for them because this is the first year the judges are judging everything. If they put on a real pretty show with nice costumes, they might blow them away. And
Like I said,
maybe the bar is set at number 1.
you got them. Then you got the Vikings. Then you say Golden Crown third.
Yep.
A lot of points out there.
Yeah.
That's a lot
But
of
again,
points.
like we talked about before, it's grouping.
Yes.
They're not up there by themselves.
Yep.
So I don't think that they should really,
Yeah.
And to say they're not up there by themselves, I mean, it sounds like we're putting certain clubs on pedestal. There's no good and bad clubs anymore.
No, we're not
and
putting them on
I know that's
pedestals.
like a
It's
cliche thing to say.
It's reality.
But you
It's
got
facts.
you got a smaller bunch. It's 11 clubs. They're all tight. No one is ineffective. It's
Anyone can
hard.
pop anytime.
Yeah, exactly. So to say going number 1 is a big deal. I mean, yeah, sure. I think historically to us it's a big deal, but anymore nowadays, I mean,
I think
you got
it's
a
more.
shot.
It weighs on the membership.
I think so too.
You get that mentality.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go.
And as long as we don't let that weigh on, they don't let that weigh on them. I
Chris's
think they'll-
job. He's got to
they'll be
keep them
fine.
up.
Yep. And Chris is a good dude.
Yeah.
I think he'll do that, and I don't think they'll have a problem. And he has a good following there. So I good luck to them. And it's unfortunate that they picked another number 1 again, but like I said, I think they'll handle it well. And I'm not worried about them. So I think they'll be fine. But moving on from that, the next pick down after the ill-fated number 1 was the Spartans. And Pat Dio was signed
He was
or
the
sigh
happiest
of
person in
relief
that building.
and it's a shame because that's like that's a moment where like all the captains are close, all the clubs are close. You don't want to be the guy that's like, thank God that's out of there. But there's a little part of your brain that's
Absolutely.
like, all right, thank God that's
Every one
gone.
of us that was watching or there, we all had the same exact feeling.
Yeah, and the Spartans wound up with number 7, which I think again is a good spot.
Smack dab in
7
the
for
middle.
me is like the beginning of the end.
Yep.
So I think they're kicking off like the second half of the show. So once again, if they're strong, I think they got a good shot. What do you think about that spot for Spartans?
It's a very good spot for the Spartans. It absolutely is. And they got a really cool idea. It's different. It's the same but different. They're taking the same theme with a little twist on it and changing it up and making it the ecosystem or however they worded it.
Yeah.
And talking to a couple, and they're very excited about it.
No, like something with, because that was the word I was going to use to describe it, ecosystem. But I guess we could say like it's like elemental.
I think there
kind
were
of,
elements, and
something
then
like-
it was changed
something-
to the ecosystem.
Yeah. So I always say like the second half, beginning of the second half, right? Like a 7 or whatever. It's kind of like going. It's like the second number 1. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of going
Kinda,
in a way, because the judges. I don't like I said. I don't know whether or not they reevaluate or whatever you want to say, but I think going at the beginning of the second half is almost like a secondary first computer.
Yeah.
And I think that's a chance for them to rejuvenate the show, kind of kick a little bit more energy back. It starts to get long. The judges got the lulls between shows and all that kind of stuff. But when they know they're halfway through, it's just like when you go see a musical or something like that. You get the intermission. And you're like, all right, the second half's always shorter. Stuff like that. And you're kind of checking the watch, but after the little break, you're ready
Starts
to
that
watch
flow
again.
again.
Well, to me, that's kind of like this. You know, they may look and say, okay, well, we're halfway through, and we're almost done. If they come out, bam,
They come out hard too.
they do.
That's another young club. They got all them young girls that they do all them
They
competitions.
gotta have the most girls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But standing behind that curtain, them girls aren't afraid of that.
No.
They do it all the time at these
I mean,
competitions.
they got cheerleaders in there. They got dancers in
Dance
there.
school.
And, and I'm sure they're used to.
And they're all
popping.
good.
Right.
They're all so good.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got a great trainer in Dana
Yeah.
as the choreographer, who I'm sure she's taught most of them from the time they were small to now. So she knows what they're capable of, and I think she knows how to utilize.
I was just gonna say, she knows who's good,
Yeah.
who's not so good, where to put them, where they shine. Could be a scary club.
Oh, yeah. And I think they could be scary for a while because of the age,
Yeah.
because of they have a high level of creativity. They're another club in the short history of 2013 that has not been afraid to try different things.
Yeah.
And you could say some worked, some didn't, whatever the case, and I'm sure they would agree with you. But if one thing is, definitely the case, improvements every year from
Every
them.
year, yep.
So again, another scary factor of them is if it's another year of improvements,
Yeah.
that's
I
that's
agree.
big for them.
I agree with
You
that.
know what I mean?
they got the old guys that are still in there.
Which is good. Because you always need the veteran presence.
Yeah. And then you bring in these kids every year.
Yeah, it's Spartans are a club to watch, and again, I know we've mentioned about other clubs, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Another great captain, because Pat is a really good
great
guy,
showman.
and he
can dance.
He can dance, and he's a big guy.
Not as big as he used to be, Pat, but he can dance.
He moves well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really well.
He's a big presence out there.
He is, and I've seen some of the way that he works around the club, and he's really just has that vibe with him. But I'm getting the signal to move on. So we'll move on. I know we must really like the Spartans.
We're stuck
I don't
with
know.
Spartans.
But don't get hung up on the next one. All right, because the club that we got next is this one's home base here. I'll let him tell you what number they got.
9. Gotta love that 9.
You like that 9?
I would only like the 10 better, but I'll take that 9.
Well, sorry about that. No, I think 9's a good spot for the Stars. And tell me why the Stars are going to be better this year.
After 2 8s, you can't get much worse. Morale's
Well, you couldn't
morale's
get
up
a
around
9.
there.
Well, you did get a 9, but there was a
Yeah,
marching number.
finally got away from that 8. We even marched 8th. So many 8s.
Yeah.
But high energy theme, very
Mm-hmm.
colorful, a lot of gimmicks. Very excited about it.
Good.
And Jackie is pumping energy back in there. We've been drilling since June.
That's right. Jackie's a choreographer
Yeah,
now.
new
That's going to be
choreographer.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very good.
Polynesian or Hawaiian, right, is the theme?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good theme. And I think Charlie is another one who's young in the position, but really I think
He's
breathes
an old man.
breathes some new life into
When you talk to him, you'd think you were talking to Billy Mack. Like he's been there for 100 years, but he's still
though.
a kid.
and but he grew up in it, right? So I think a lot of those young guys that grew up in it their whole life, they have that old guy mentality, which is not a bad thing. It's
Not at
it's
all.
good because you got the discipline of the old school with the ideas of the new.
Yep,
And I think that's really good. So you're excited, I would say.
very.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll see not an 8.
God, I'll take 7.
You
at this
guys
point.
been liking that number, so I don't know, maybe. Moving on. Jokers after the Stars, and they wound up with the 11.
Yes.
So that's the spot I think probably everybody wants to pick out. Although I don't know, maybe some people don't like.
I'm
to
not a
go
fan
late.
of going last. I don't
Why?
like
Why
it.
not?
I just don't like it. I don't like the coming down Second Street with the cops behind you.
Oh yeah.
Everything's later, and it's
That's
just
true.
the convention center. When you come off the floor, the convention center's empty.
Yeah.
Except for a couple people left behind ripping floats apart.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
You
I
go
guess.
out there, it's 1 million people. You come back, it's empty.
I think last is the only spot that I've repeated.
Oh, really?
Multiple times. Yeah. And I you're right. I always kind of forget about that. There's nothing behind you. Like it's the street sweepers are behind you. So yeah, I guess that is
Cops
kind
on
of
the
true.
brakes pushing you.
Yeah, you do kind of feel like you're shoved to the side a little bit. You could be like the greatest club, but a lot of people duck out early or whatever.
I
like,
do.
Especially on like Broad Street. I don't blame them. It gets long. You're the last club, then there's definitely nothing behind you at all.
Going
It's
last
like,
years ago was the absolute worst. Going up Broad
Oh,
Street,
when you
you
were
had the
outside,
trash trucks
yeah, that
behind
stinks. Yeah, no, I can I can kind of see that, but I think it is a little bit better going last in the convention center than it
big
would be on
difference,
Broad
yeah.
Street. Because when you were going in Broad Street, you were literally last.
You
There
were
was
it.
like nothing behind you at all. So that does get pretty hard. But I think it is personally, it's a good spot for the
them, yeah.
Jokers. They've been a little, obviously everybody knows their prize has been up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, they try different things.
They're not afraid to try anything. Them guys up there.
No, they're not. But I think they liked 11 because we caught the reaction
Oh,
of
really?
them getting 11, and I think they seemed like they were excited. So why don't we take a look at what they thought?
You got the Olive Garden now. You're building your first floor. Yeah!
11.
Get in here now. Get in.
Kiss, you better go up and do that shot.
You just made old man Duffy proud. He's
So that was pretty cool because it wasn't David picking their captain. It was,
Oh,
it was a
really?
younger kid, and I apologize. I don't know who it was that was picking, but that had to feel good for him to go up there and pick out an 11.
Yeah.
The last spot because it wasn't they didn't pick last. There was other numbers left
I
in
think
there.
There
So
was like a 4 maybe.
there was
left
an
there.
8 and a 4 and
An
11
8.
was in there when
Yeah.
when they went up. So I mean, 8 would have been fine. 11 would have been fine. Obviously, 4 would be the one that you. I mean, I guess that's not even really that bad of a spot, really.
No.
But
Unless
yeah,
you're going by your grouping theory.
well, yeah, true. If you would have got a number,
It's tough up there.
but that would have been another good club up there. So
Absolutely.
that would have just again made it, even all that tougher. But yeah, it's good for him to go up there and like a young guy like that in the club that they obviously
cool.
trusted to go up. And I don't know if he was the co-captain. Again, I apologize. I don't know who it was.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was really cool to see that, and I think we'll expect something to go cool out of them.
gonna be fun.
theme.
Cowboys,
yeah,
gonna be fun.
that's pretty neat. So we'll see them
They
let
have a
loose.
mechanical bull up there this weekend.
Did they?
Yeah, this weekend coming up. They're having a party. And they're having
Oh,
a
this
mechanical
week
bull.
that's pretty cool.
They're living a dream.
They're a good group of guys too. I always have a
Fun.
good time when I go in there.
They're fun,
That's a
yeah.
fun place to be. So hey, good for them. Hopefully they're happy with that spot. I think they deserve a good spot. And let's see what they do. I like Western themes. So I actually liked when they did it before, back in the early '90s. That like crazy
breaky
bright
heart.
colored. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get a kick out of that. I think that was
It's
hilarious.
Freddie Keller, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. But 2 spots were left. All right. So after that 11 went, we had 8 left and we had 4 left. We had Cleavemore and Magic, 2 of the real upcoming clubs. And you could say one good spot, one spot. One of them was going to go to
Right.
somebody. Cleavemore was a lucky one that got to pick with an option
Yeah.
because they picked before Magic. They got the 8. So I think personally, I know I said before up to that point that we had gotten to that the Avenuers were the best spot at 6. I think this might be the best spot overall.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll see what you think before I share. But my personal opinion, and I'll get into it, is I think Cleavemore got the best spot out of anybody. What are your thoughts?
I really don't have any.
No.
No, they're another club they can bang you or they can drop back. I mean,
Yeah.
their captain puts on a hell of a show. No matter what they do, no matter what spot they go up, he's going to
Yeah.
go out there and he's going to dance, put on a show, and they're dangerous.
They are.
They're a dangerous club.
So this is why, and I agree with that, and this is why I think that they got the best spot out of anybody. They're up and coming. They're another one, a smaller core group, but they got a lot of young people.
Yeah.
They got a good captain. They got a good spot last year, and I think they were like 9 or 10 last year. And I think that last year was the best that they've been in a really long time.
Yeah.
And I think that there's no way they let that go this year. So I think if you saw something good out of Cleavemore last year, I think you see something better out of Cleavemore
Right.
this year.
He's got that Tersey blood in him.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to lay down. He's the captain. His dad's still involved. They keep
Yeah.
it very close. They make the suits. They keep everything very in-house.
He's got a legend in his ear.
Yeah.
Every day with
Yep.
his dad. So
So I think them picking another good spot for a second year in a row is only going to further the morale
Yeah.
that that club had. I would assume they had to have good morale coming out of last year.
yeah.
Because they were good. The Haunted theme.
And
I
you got to
think they
hope
put on
they
a good
keep
show.
getting better and better because they get better and better. You get a couple new members. You get 6, 8 new guys. And
I saw improvement because I think their choreography was the best it's been in a long time.
The past few years, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to
So
agree.
I think that you're going to see a prize improvement, not only a show improvement for yet another year with Cleveland, but I think you're going to see them finally bump up at least another spot or two in
I
the
can see
ranks.
that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a club that I think deserves it and would be
Yeah.
very appreciative of that.
Been around a long time.
Yeah, and I think that would be good for them, and I think you're going to get it. Hopefully I'm right because I think I would like to see that.
Yeah.
But moving on, Magic they officially have to pick. For anybody that doesn't know, they do still have to go and pick up the spot out of the bin or whatever it's in, just to make sure and confirm that it is the right number, which it should have been a 4, and it was.
Can you imagine if it wasn't?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's ever happened.
I doubt it.
I'm
sure
maybe
if it
back
did,
in the
it'll
old
never
days
happen
when
again.
they used to like handwrite it on there, but now it's all printed out and they make sure that
I
kind
don't
of
know how
stuff.
they used to do it.
Well, I would imagine it was probably the same way. I guess they just either use a typewriter or
I
they
don't know. My
hand.
dad would
they
call me and tell me
hand
what
wrote it
spot
on
we
there.
were going.
Yeah.
I didn't even care.
I know it used to be, and I know the string bands used to do this. It used to be handwritten placed in an envelope, and then they were all laid on a table, and you picked in a random order.
Really?
It wasn't prize order. Yeah, and then you went up and you just picked whatever envelope you wanted off the table. They used to do that. I don't know if the brigades did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
the way we do it's probably the fairest way.
Yeah, prize order without having an option to go first 2 years in a row.
Taking a 1 out's huge.
Yeah, I
So that
think that's a
wouldn't be
big
fair.
thing. No, it's not. But yeah, I mean, so they didn't really get an option. They got 4. Knowing Mike Orlando, the captain, I really don't think he
I don't think he
cares
cares.
at all what
He don't care.
spot they
Like
got.
he's gonna have fun no matter what he's doing.
And I got some confirmation in talking to him, for different social media pieces, and he's going to be on a coming episode actually.
Look forward to that one.
Oh, just you wait. Yeah. Well, anyway, you'll see when you watch it. He doesn't. I know he doesn't care what spot they get, but I also know that him and Magic are really shooting for improvements
Really?
this year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for them.
They got a lot of drive in them. They got a lot of fire in them. So I'm glad that they didn't get a number 1.
Yeah.
Because I think with again another club that has a lot of dancers, a lot of cheerleaders, a lot of people like that come from outside of Mummers that maybe didn't grow up in the activity. I think could be a little bit deflating to them, especially when because like if you don't grow up in it, I think you kind of put more stock into the spot meaning something because that's what you're always told by everybody
It
else.
could be the opposite.
Or it could be the opposite.
New people don't know the difference. They don't care.
That's true. Yeah, so I mean, I think apparently they're doing a lot of cool things this year, and I don't
Good.
want to give too much away. Mike told me some stuff in confidence. I'll leave it to New Year's Day, but I think that you're going to see again an improvement in Magic, as like I said about Cleveland. I think you're going to see something big out of them too.
Everybody's improving. They really are. Everybody's improving.
Yeah, no, I
Every year
agree with
it's
that.
getting bigger and bigger and better and better.
I mean, like we said last year, I'm sorry, like we said a little bit ago, that it was there's no bad clubs anymore.
No.
But it's true. It sounds cliche, but it really is true. I mean, you got a small core of clubs that
There's a
all
couple
put
that
lot
are
of effort.
great.
Sure.
And a bunch that are really good.
Yeah, and the really good ones are starting to. It's getting scary because they're crossing that threshold into
Parity's starting to close in.
So overall, I think we have a really good show. I think we have a full list of standings to throw up if we can take a look at that. Just to kind of remind everybody of the order. I think it's going to be a great show. I really do. Another awesome year at the convention center, and I think it's good. Final thoughts, Bill?
No, I agree with you. It's going to be a good show. It's a good show to get your tickets. They're on sale. Everybody's going to put on a good show. Everybody's going to try their best. Everybody's going to be colorful. Everybody's going to be pretty, and nobody's going to stink.
No.
So
No.
I mean, as a fan, I wouldn't mind going there and watching this show with this lineup. It's going
No,
to be good.
absolutely. It's a great lineup, top to bottom. You get to see some of the classic, biggest winners we have up front.
Yep.
Some of the classic biggest winners we have in the back. Some of the newcomers that are up and coming right in the middle of the pack. It is a really good lineup.
Themes
and
are all over the place.
Yeah, themes are all over. It's a lot of different options, some new things. So, like Billy said, tickets are available now. There'll be a reminder every day this week. There will be, especially on Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever you call it now, X. Yeah, I don't even know if you can call it a tweet anymore. I don't
have
know.
it, so I don't know.
But yeah, it'll be all over social media, so you don't have to look for the link. You'll see the posts with the poster with all the captains on. You can see that. You click the link, go get your tickets and join us for either the 11:30 show or for the 5 o'clock show. I just got confirmation today that tickets are selling really fast.
Are they really good?
Yeah,
that's good.
So we started selling them earlier this year because we were getting a lot of people asking. So apparently they were asking for a reason, because they're going really fast. So if you want to join us at the convention center on New Year's Day for this awesome lineup for 2024, get your tickets, ticketleap.com. You'll see the link every day this week on social media. And if you don't already follow the social media for the brigades across all platforms, make sure you do that. And we'll see you for the next episode, and we'll see you New Year's Day for 2024. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you next time.